Hello, my friends. As always, let's get that audio check. Audio's good. That's all I got to see. Let me go up to this top of this chat thread. All right. Thank you, moderators. Pamela, JJ, Mish, Square Peg. How you doing? Victoria Z. I seen you've been pretty live in the chat today. I've been following a little bit. I've been busy. I uploaded three more episodes in the Feylorn Saga. The 20th episode is processing right now. So there's a new one I just now uploaded in the last 5 minutes. Let's see, that's number 20. I may do a couple more tonight. Trying to get the whole first book out. Let's see. All right. There's a lot of people in the chat. You guys asked for this. It wasn't on the menu. I mean, I'm moving in different directions. I wasn't really trying to do a Bible study, although it is a fascinating book or a collection of books. Funky Prepper, I appreciate that, but I'm not worried about hackers. I'm not worried about attacks and all that. Everything that I have ever composed, drafted, all the thousands of images that are on the Facebook group, my website, everything is backed up on drives. I'm cautious about that. I've even shown the Faraday bags that I use right here on YouTube. I've shown the actual different bags where I have hard drives with everything at different locations. Oh yeah, I mean that was the whole idea. The entire idea behind the super PAC was not to market and make money. The entire idea from the very beginning is I wanted to get about 100 people who were interested in the super PAC. So I put 100% of my material, every book that I've ever written, unpublished, published. I put all my articles, thousands of pages for Chronicon, research notes, all the memes I designed, and all the images for the Phoenix, the Anunna files, everything you've seen on YouTube. All the charts, diagrams, everything is in the super PAC, and I wanted to distribute that around the world, and I did. What I didn't know is that it was going to become a thing. I sell super PACs every single week now. I just mailed a large stack the day before yesterday, and it was like 4 days late in mailing. I got caught up doing Christmas lights because my crew is short. I forgot all about my mailing, so I apologize to y'all that were waiting, or you're probably going to wait a little extra 3 or 4 days because I just mailed a whole stack out. Sorry about that. But yeah, don't worry about hackers attacking me. I got everything backed up. And these days, it is so easy. I got Matt now. Matt's now helping out. It is so easy just to go to another platform, start from scratch on Odyssey, and within 48 hours have hundreds of things already done. Yeah, I'm not worried about anything. Just not worried. Thank you, Meryl. Just not worried about it. Eternal Pupil, you guys are great. All right. 681 people in the chat. We're going to get started pretty fast here. You know, I like to wait till there's about 1,000, but I will start. You remember the very first video, guys. The first video was about the 7 seals, and I wanted to convey to you that a lot of what's taught from the pulpit is wrong. The 7 seals have nothing to do with the tribulation. They don't have anything to do with the wrath of God. The 7 seals are a template of events that the errant, that the elect are to watch out for, because they tell the intelligent observer what to expect. Remember, we're living in a script, aka a simulated context. This is what we're living in. So this is why we have prophecy. Prophecy is nothing but an unveiling, an apocalypse of decoding. These protocols were all designed a very long time ago. You're going to hear in this video me reading from a Bible published in 1893. Not a lot of significant differences from Bibles of today, although it depends on this is King James, but it depends on what Bibles you're talking about, because there are some that there is a vast departure. But when it comes to what I'm going to reveal, the nuances and the particulars are of no import. Because what I'm going to show you is absolute proof of claims that I have made in the past. That the book of Revelation is coded. It is a cipher, and it directly links us back to one book. It is the end. It is the Omega text, but it is intrinsically connected with the Alpha text. The Alpha and Omega of Scripture are the beginning and the end. The book of Genesis, of generations, of the Toledo, and the book of the unveiling, the Apocalypse. So it's a very interesting phenomenon. I'm probably not the only person to have made these discoveries of the interconnectedness between the two books and just emitting everything in the middle. You got Genesis, you got Revelation, then you got 64 other books. We can just take them out and set them to the side. They're irrelevant when it comes to future past phenomena as detailed in the book of Revelation. When you're going to understand basically what the series of templates are that Revelation reveals, you got to go back to the source, because Revelation is predicated upon events that already happened in the beginning in Genesis. That's what we're going to do. A few more people. 842 people in. That's good. That's real good. I'm going to look at some of these before I get started, because once I get started, guys, you already know I'm going to take off. So I like to look at my chat before it gets away from me. Thank you for the donations, guys. If some of you in your downtime, listen, the Feylorn Saga, although a lot of people, good comments, all favorable comments, people are very entertained by it. I'm telling you guys, I'm going somewhere with that. The Feylorn Saga is designed to teach basically those who would never come to the Archaix forum, those who don't even know they're searching and don't even know there's something to search for. A lot of people who only indulge in fantasy, in fiction, and never in their entire life seek out the truth. Listen, what I believe about our world is totally encoded throughout this entire Feylorn Saga. This whole tragedy that's unfolding in the world of the fairies. As humans multiply and fairies they're running out of places to go. While all this is occurring, it's a cataclysm, and it's approaching. A great war from the underworld is invading the surface. At the same time that there are people expecting the broken many times in the past. This entire story, the first 20 episodes that I've already put on the Feylorn Saga, these are background. This is a story being told by a single guy after many of these events have already happened. And he shows up to the last outpost of the fairies, and he's giving his story before the Sylvan God, as fairies of all different races are crowded around him, hanging on his every word. All 20 of these episodes are a part of the story that he's giving. It's the very first episode explains what's going on. It's a survivor telling a story before the real story, which involves those fairies, even begins. I told you guys I spent many years putting together an epic fantasy story because I wanted to rival basically my hero. I really liked as a kid Tolkien, but I believe in my heart, and I'm laying it all out now, that I've written a fantasy epic that's far more prolific, imaginative, and spellbinding than J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. And I stand by that. And that's why I'm releasing them all for free for you to judge for yourself. That's the Feylorn Saga. 20 episodes are out. I'll probably upload 2 more before I go to sleep tonight. That'll be 5 episodes uploaded today. Nope, not drinking coffee, Gerald. Today, I'm washing all my errant cups and all my errant mugs and all that. Today, we're drinking out of clay kiln-fired mug, and we're drinking orange pico tea. Something like that. One of them tea bags I grabbed. All I can do is tell you it's very, very good. Might even be good with a little splash of bourbon. I'm going to leave that alone. 1,000 people in the chat. It is time to go. Without further ado, let's get on with this. We're only 10 minutes in. That's good. So, just a really short, abbreviated recap. In the very first video, I gave a dissertation on the 7 seals, but I didn't finish the 7 seals because the 7th seal is a transitory period, and we're going to go into that right now because other events happened during the 7th seal, the 7 seals. These seals were given. Remember the future to the intelligent observer, and this is what this is for. The future is inside the script. But the script can't be known until there are identifiers. Those identifiers have been given to us in the form of seals, but only in the last days before the final events unfold are we to even become aware of what they are. This is why there's 7 seals. The first seal is broken, and we learn of this white horseman who comes with a bow and arrow. I've told you guys what the meaning of that is. Excuse me. The second seal is a response to this. The result. What? Tea got me. The result. The tea got my sinuses draining. Wow. Can't beat water. So, the third seal is the third horseman, and it is the result of the first 2 seals. The fourth seal is the result of the first 3 seals. Wow. AIX. So, how interesting, we were at 1,000 people, and I just dropped 200 people in live chat. Wow. Amazing. What did I say? So anyway, the 5th seal is not events in the world. It's part of the harvest. Remember, I've told you guys, and we're going to go into that here, that it is my belief that in 1902, which began the Giza course countdown of levels of blocks, going all the way up from the foundation of the Great Pyramid in 1902, going all the way up to 2105. Before 2106, which is the descent of the chief cornerstone, the architect of the monument of man. Each block is a soul of man. So, this is the harvest period. Every soul that has been living in life sims going all the way back throughout human history, it's their final entry into the simulacrum. This is when they begin making their exit. In 1902. And this is why we had 1902 is just terrible. It's terrible. All the events that have happened, World War I, World War II, the Persians all throughout Asia, Pol Pot and Mei Zedong, whatever his name is, all the whole Vietnam conflict, which was much bigger, all the way into Laos and Cambodia. All the genocides, everything that has happened. These are the 7. This is the harvest taking place, and we get glimpses of that in the 7th seal, which I'm going to read for you. So, with the 6th seal, sorry guys, sometimes reading glasses just are not enough. Just not enough. Put this over here. So, before we get to the 7 trumpets, we need to understand exactly what's transpiring between the seals and the wrath of God, which begins the 7 trumpet period. The seals are not the wrath of God. They initiate that period. So, Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, and I beheld when he opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. The world is being prepared. It has been destabilized. The sky will not roll like a scroll unless there's a pole shift happening. And it doesn't matter if it's a real pole shift or if it's a simulated one. They're the same. They make no difference. Your flat earth model or your globe model is irrelevant when the simulation is still going to produce this result. So every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Confirmatory pole shift. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman hid themselves in the den and in the rocks of the mountains. This is the collective. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from him, from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Fear porn. This is the result of fear porn. This is the collective responding to and admitting finally that, oh crap, everything's falling apart because we ain't been doing what we're supposed to. This is the collective. There's no evidence here that this has anything to do with those who are not vibrating on that frequency. The elect and the redeemed through the entire seven seals and the passage of the fifth seal, and now what I'm going to read to you in the seventh seal, is an independent body. These people are not associated to those who fear the collective. So we have here the end of the sixth seal is admitted in the text to be the beginning of the wrath of God. So that means, as I postulated in my first video, that the first seal, the first horseman, second seal, the second horseman, third seal, the third horseman, going all the way up to the fourth horseman, and the sixth, and then the fifth seal, which was a transitory period of events only happening concerning the harvest on heaven, admitting where the souls were being quarantined, the souls who were unjustly slain, put in an altar. Remember, the Great Pyramid is an altar. It was called the Altar of Agni in ancient times, made of 10,080 bricks. And I've shown you guys that the Great Pyramid it's a 5-point geometry, 4 cornerstones and an apex. But rendered two-dimensionally, it's a pentagram. It's 5 points. A pentagram is made up of 10 angles of 108 degrees. This isn't me telling you this. This has been known for over a century ago from the research I borrowed it from. The pentagram being 108 degrees, 10 angles of one, gives us the number 1080. And in ancient times, in the Annus Mundi calendar, in the year 1080, the Great Pyramid was finished in its construction. It was done. In the year 1080, which was 2815 BC of our calendar, the last and final of the 144,000 white gleaming limestone casing blocks were put on the pyramid to protect it. It was a armor put on the altar. And it would last for thousands of years. This was the reason why it was there. It's the same reason that same number appears in the book of Revelation. And again, it's attributed to people. And again, it's attributed to it being a cover or an armor. So I'm going to show you this. Here's where things begin to get very interesting. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 1. And after these things, after the pole shift, after May 2040 events, and after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth. This means whatever is about to be said is going to affect the entire world. Now, this is a flat earth model being promoted right here in the book of Revelation, but it doesn't matter what your paradigm is. So, holding the 4 winds of the earth. I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. That is very specific. I'm going to tell you what this is inferring, and then I'm going to prove it to you. I am telling you that it is my opinion that this is setting the stage for the vapor canopy. Remember, I told you 2040, Phoenix brings back the vapor canopy. Phoenix is the one that took it away. So vapor canopy world. I've told you many times in presentations, there's no wind. There is no wind in a vapor canopy world. Remember, I told you the elite are setting people up right now, trying to get them all to convert to turbine wind technologies. It's all a setup. They know, they're not stupid. They're setting up so when they come back from underground after all this is over with, they're hoping that whole infrastructures have collapsed. So they don't have to do a military takeover. They can come up with technologies and be just like when Enki showed up in 34, 39 BC with 49 or 50 other guys that were all technologically advanced, and they wooed everybody, and they thought they were gods. And 1,000 years later, they called them the sons of God. They called them the Watchers. They called them the Anunna. They called them the Anunnaki. So it's the same series of events that the elite want to perpetuate, hoping that the infrastructures collapse so that they're regarded as gods when they pop back up after about 20, 25 years. Next verse. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. Remember, the 7 seals are not done. We haven't even started the 7 trumpet. We are in the description right now of the 6th seal, and that is very important. Remember, I said that it's still the 6th seal, which starts with a pole shift caused by Phoenix. Now, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels who are not allowing any wind in the world. No winds. To the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. My forehead's sweaty right now. And I heard the number of them that were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of Israel. Okay. Here we have a world where the wind has completely stopped. Do you know what that would do to the oceans? Still oceans. What it would do to the currents? Even the leaves of the trees aren't blowing. There's no breeze. There's no wind. There's nothing. What does Phoenix do when it appears? It layers the mesosphere with red dust. And what does that have? What happens? Well, we've seen this and documented it many times, even in 1902. Excuse me. Much of that red dust falls again. It becomes arid and falls through, and it rains in the world as carbonaceous material. It's red. Some claim it has blood corpuscles in it. Some claim it's got actual blood in it. But in some areas of high humidity, it rains down as mud. It's covered whole ancient cities before. So we're dealing with a layering of the upper atmosphere of Phoenix fallout. But at the same time, what does Phoenix bring? Every time Phoenix appears, volcanism occurs. What happens in volcanism? Not only is it the release of ambient radiation, which has increased the size of animals in the past and humans in 1902, but the ambient radiation is just a byproduct of the volcanism. The main thing it does is it fills the atmosphere with ash and pumice. So we have the mesosphere, which is an ancient ocean above, which has been drained the day the sky fell, the great flood, the collapse of the vapor canopy, the birth of the sun. All these happened in 2239 BC. When that occurred, it emptied, but there's still water droplets in the mesosphere. It always has been. It's just not as thick as it used to be. But we're going to get into that right here. The number of the sealed. So the wind is not moving in the world. We have Phoenix fallout from the pole shift. We have a period of silence in the world and an admission that even after the Phoenix phenomenon, there are still redeemed. There are still errants. There's still holy people in the world. But 144,000 of those holy people after the May 2040 Phoenix phenomenon appears 144,000 of these survivors who are holy are going to be especially sealed for a divine purpose. This does not mean that there's only 144,000 elect after 2040. That's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. The world is full of people who are awakened and don't suffer any consequences from the May 2040 events. But there's 144,000 that have a very special purpose, and they're marked during the sixth seal. Why the sixth seal? What do we know about the number 6 in the beginning? If this is the beginning of the end, then the beginning of the simulacrum programming from way back then has to be attached to this. What happened in the 6th part that would be relative to this? The 6th seal involves mankind. The 6th seal involves the destruction of man's world, a whole new order being implemented, a new biosphere appearing, and it's in the 6th part. But if we look back to the day of the beginning in the book of Genesis, we find that in the 6th day, mankind was made. I'm not saying it happened that way. I'm saying this is what's in the programming narrative that's been given to us in the form of the Bible. 7 days of creation, and in the 6th day, God made humankind. He made them in his image. So we have here a referencing that God made mankind in the 6th day, way back then. But in the 6th seal, mankind is finally sealed, which is a very important event, meaning there's a promise here. And in that promise, there will be a fulfillment that will be guaranteed. Therefore, these 144,000 are destined for something great, great. But they're going to have to pass through some dark times to receive that inheritance. And that's revealed in the rest of Revelation. The beast empire, what's going to happen after these events. Because this is contrary to popular belief, the apocalypse is a very short period. And then there's a period of peace and a period of a whole new empire, a new structure, a new civilization, 7 kings that rule under this great new religious leader. We call him the Antichrist, but he won't be regarded as one while he's alive, while he's doing what he's doing. And this whole new, and people will forget. We'll get to that in a minute. So having covered that, I would definitely like to look at that Genesis real quick. I don't want to misquote anything. Let's be real careful with this. Go over here. You know, I get carried away, guys. What's that audio? How's my audio looking? Going down to the bottom. Oh my God, it's a long chat thread. Am I going to make it to the bottom? Hey, Hugh, Phoenix Protocol. Thanks for joining. All right, good. Excellent. Thank you, guys. So, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion of the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and over cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female, created he them. So, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. That's Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. So, we have a reset story here. It's a reset story, meaning the beginning was a reset. Remember, guys, I have a theory that the simulacrum only reboots. It's a collapse. It's attached to the year 2178. When it collapses, that's when we are actually freed from the construct. Those of us who are ready, those of us who have passed the trials, who have passed through the gates of Amenti, who have passed through the kingdom of Seeker and have arrived into the gates of Rostal, which is what the pyramid represents. Those of us who make it to the gate to the outside. Those of us who are errants, chosen, marked, and elect by the oversoul. When this When this holography collapses, we're gone. We're free. He came to set the captives free. I don't know where we're going. We might go back home, and after a while, a bunch of us get together and volunteer for the next simulacrum, for the next stage in our immortal development. I don't know. But I do know what happens to everybody who doesn't make the cut. The ones that don't make the cut, they stay here when the system reboots. This is what Genesis is telling us. Here's the creation story. Here's the beginning of the programming protocols. Here's where everything starts. This book is the template by which our existence is modeled while we're in the construct. Here it is right here. It's like a training manual. And it tells us in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, that when mankind was created in the image of God, the avatars are made in the image of the humans on the outside of the construct. Then right here, we have it on good authority. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. There it is right there. Okay, to fill it again. This world is a program. We have always been pilgrims, sojourners, travelers. Yeah, we're never, that's why I tell you guys all the time, we were never, ever put here to save the world. There were religious cults and orders in the Roman times, Greek times, the Orphic faith, the Delphic faith, the Dodonians. These people tried to save the world. Ancient Egyptians wanted to save the world. You think we're the first people that ever come together with an idea that if enough of us get together, we can collectively change? We were never meant to do it. And there's no record of it ever having been done. We're not here. We're here to flow through like minnows in a stream. Flow through all this BS. Don't let any of it attach to us, and we'll be okay. Because all the greatest things that we could ever take from this experience, we could never take through the gates of Rostal. No, the great scales. I mean, this is what in the Egyptian Book of Life, which we call the Egyptian Book of the Dead, ironically, but in the Egyptian Book of the Life, that's what it's about. When the spirit finally makes it through the kingdom of Seeker and discovers the ladder of Set, which will basically launch his spirit straight out into the cosmos, free of this construct. It can't take anything. It's like the old stories go. When a man carrying all the bags of all the acquisitions of his life makes it to the river Styx. And when he does, the boatman asks him, "You or your possessions, sir? Both cannot be born." It's a decision you have to make. Are you going to accrue all these things in life? Then you can stay here because you made that a decision for you that would govern your existence. And the simulacrum will always reflect that back as circumstance. We have the elite trapped in this. They're trapped in a feedback loop because they have accepted the rulership of the world and all the benefits it entails. Therefore, the world is theirs. They've inherited it. It's theirs. And they go through all this BS over and over and over and over. They can't move forward. This is what they've chosen. So when the simulacrum collapses, according to the program, in the year 2178, Anno Domini, which is 138 years after May 2040, when the Phoenix phenomenon occurs, which is 138 years after 1902, which began the harvest. When we see all these things in the construct, it's beautiful. And it's very obvious when we're reading the book of Revelation how all this is going to unfold. We're not creating the future. It's already written. I tell you, I've been telling you guys since my very first videos 3 years ago. Events in the collective are scripted. You don't have anything to worry about. The script isn't for you if you don't want to follow it. This is why you're living in two different realities. There's nothing in the book of Revelation that should bring about that fear. If that's happening to you and you're looking at the Archaix material and all you do is get scared when you're looking at that, then you brought that baggage into the Archaix family. We didn't give it to you. That's not what we're about. We're about telling you everything in the future, but what you accept is your business. And you can share that fate with the collective. They've been on this loop for a very long time. But we're just passing through. Me and my friends, we're just passing through. This is an interesting ride, and we've been through some hell. We've been through some shit in here. There's no doubt. But when you start seeing reality for what it is, this is a stage. It's a stage. And if you treat it as an old Greek amphitheater and as somebody on the fourth row watching all these events, then that's how reality will reciprocate. These events will continue to amuse you and entertain you, but they won't involve you because you separated yourself from the madness. You have allowed the construct to understand that you hold yourself as separate from what you see. And it will treat you accordingly. But it will also honor you when you vibrate at a different frequency, allowing it to believe that you are experiencing the very things you fear. Yeah, this was all about, guys. When you know the template, everything makes sense. So let's learn more about that template here. Let's go through it. That was the end of. Okay, that was the end of Genesis chapter 1. I just wanted to shoot back to Genesis for a minute, man, and read that to you guys, because the book of Revelation is the end, the Omega text, but it keeps taking us right back to Genesis chapter 1. Everything takes us back to Genesis chapter 1. That's what I'm going to show you. Just keeps on taking us back. So that was that. So let's go back to Revelation. Oh, I showed you guys that. Hold on. I showed you Revelation 7:1, where the angel, during the sixth seal after the pole shift by Phoenix, the angel instructs one angel instructs four other angels not to hurt all these things in the world, but to hold the winds. So not even a tree will feel a breeze. That's a hell of a statement, but it's a requirement for the formation of a vapor canopy. So if this is mentioned in the end document, what could it refer to in the beginning document? I'm going to show you. And it's we're going to look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 3. This is the very next era. I just read you Genesis chapter 1 and the end of it, verse 28. And it ends with God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. In the evening and the morning was the sixth day. That was the creation of mankind in the image of God. 6 being the sixth seal. Now, this is what's interesting. In the evening and the morning was the sixth day. When he created the fish and the animals, in the evening and the morning was the 5th day. And when he created two great lights, one to rule the day and one to rule the night, and he created the stars also, in the evening and the morning was the 1st day. And when he created the firmament and split the waters from below from the waters of above and set the firmament in the sky, in the evening and the morning was the next day. What we are shown here is something that I have told you guys in my presentations over and over again, and what sets Archaix data apart from almost every other interpreter of ancient records. The very fact that all the calendars in the ancient world are day count systems. In the days of Noah, in the days of Abraham, in the days of Enoch, in these are the generations of Noah in the days of Shem, in the days of Nimrod, mighty hunter before the Lord. In the last days, such and such will happen. You don't hear any references to years in the book of Genesis. You don't hear any references of anything being dated by years in the Old Testament. That should tell you something. Remember, the Mayan long count is predicated off units of time that are all divisible by 360. Those units of time are in denominations of 144,000. The Vedic periods were all divisible by periods of 144,000. Later on, they got it confused. They started calling it years. Remember, Zecharia Sitchin totally conflated all his histories by claiming that the Sumerian texts were always referring to years when they called shars. But I have shown you in my own research that Sumerian translators, 50 years before Zecharia Sitchin ever published anything, were already publishing in their notes that shars were the measurements used in ancient Sumerian documents to show how many vases they had in their cargo manifests on ships. If cargo was measured in shars, then shar doesn't mean year. And this is what I've revealed over and over and over. It's a mistake. The units of time were days. And when we refactor all the ancient calendars in the world, we get a very abbreviated time that makes absolute sense. And now we can marry many traditions together that formerly we thought were separate, but they're not. They're talking about the exact same thing. So we have here an admission in the template, in the programming book that we've been given called the Bible, that we're supposed to be interpreting things as days. So now, the next piece, I wanted to go back to Genesis because in Revelation, we have a mentioning of the conditions on returning, the return of a vapor canopy. And that's important because the wrath of God that unfolds after that are conditions that can only happen to people when they're living in a vapor canopy world. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that shortly. So we're still in the sixth seal. All this happened. But the sixth seal is now giving us imagery that's telling us to look back to the book of Genesis, the only place in the Bible we find these exact same symbols used in the same context. So here is Genesis chapter 2, verse 3. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that, and he rested from all of his work which God had created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the God had made the earth and the heavens. So here it is. We have this beautiful admission that the day count was what was important in the creation. But the destruction of the world in the book of Revelation is referring to the exact same system. And then we have, but there went up a mist from, this is verse 6, but there went up a mist from the ground, from the earth, and watered the whole face of the world. Why would Genesis throw that statement in there about the beginning in the creation event, in the day that he had created the heavens? And there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. That's amazing. It almost defies how others have missed this, that there was no rain. We're told in Genesis later that there was no rain before the flood, and that a mist watered everything, and that many biblical scholars are convinced that there was an ocean above in the sky before the flood, and that the flood was caused by the collapse of that ocean. It was called a firmament. It's very interesting. But it's mystified me when I read Genesis years ago that this verse is just thrown in there, and verse 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. This is a very, very watered down description of the creation of an avatar. That's what it is. Basically using the material components that were available, the earth and all its soul components and all that, and building a avatar, and then breathing life into that avatar, giving it a soul. So yeah, that's all very interesting. But we're going to move on because we're at the end. I don't want to reread the whole beginning. We could. We're going back to Revelation. That's where we were. We're going to go right back to Revelation chapter 7. And again, we got to be careful with this. All right. Revelation chapter 7, 2 through 4. We've already discussed the 144,000. We've already gone that. Now remember, the beginning time, all the calendar units were divisible by 144,000. So to find in the last days that there's 144,000 people that are sealed is not a surprise. Remember also, I've shown you extensively, I have an entire playlist on the Great Pyramid showing you that it is a calendar, and that this calendar is made up of individual stones, and that each stone was emblematic of a soul of man. So if we have this super construction that is a geometrical prophecy of a representation of timekeeping systems that is constructed from the souls of men, that altar is where all these souls are that the book of Revelation keeps showing us windows in, like the fifth seal, which shows us there's an altar full of human souls. Proof of this is that engineers and mathematicians are convinced that the Great Pyramid in Egypt, that is this structure that I'm telling you guys about, was covered in 144,000 white gleaming limestone casing blocks. We know this, we know those blocks were there for a fact because 4 of them have been found in situ and they're still there today. For thousands of years, they were buried under the desert because the pyramid was much bigger than they had thought. But when they dug the whole pyramid all the way down to its foundation, they realized that the Muslim extraction engineers from the 14th and 15th century had buried 4 of the casing blocks there, not knowing they were there. They had buried them in rubble, and this is why we found them in the year 1837. So, the armor of the Great Pyramid was 144,000 white stones. Do you remember what white stones were? A symbol for the redeemed who received a new white robe. What was the white robe? I've told you guys in the past. What is the symbol for the white robe in the ancient mystery cults and in the book of Revelation? In the first chapters of the book of Revelation, the white robe is the new avatar. It is an avatar. It is a body that is specifically designed to be able to use all the powers and blessings of the great immortal soul who has finished his sojourning through all these life sims at the end of a simulacrum cycle and is ready to go. Because the only way you can get out of here is if you receive one of these new avatars. You can't do it in a human avatar. The human avatar is designed for the human simulacrum construct. These prophecies and all these symbols are conveyed to us in images that are very, very simplified. But in ancient times, they were technologically advanced when this knowledge was really known. So this the white stone, the promise of the white stone is in the beginning of Revelation. It's promised to anybody who overcomes. It's not promised to anybody who fears God. It's not promised to anybody who loves God. It's not promised to any of that. It is promised to he who overcometh will I give a white stone. And with that white stone, I will give a new name, which only he in the oversoul will know. The Creator will know. My Father will know. So these promises are given by like kinsman redeemer to some people, the oversoul, to the benefactor, whatever you want to call him. Though whatever ideas we attach to the oversoul to God, they're just programming. It's your interpretation of as you have received the data from the programming. So they're inconsequential. It doesn't matter. The particulars and nuances of your faith are irrelevant. It's the fact that you have faith. That's what's important. To he who overcometh will I give a white stone. You're a part of the pyramid. You're a part of the calendrical pyramid, the altar of Agni, this great altar of souls that has been filling since the year 1902. This is who you are. Given a white stone. That white stone is put in the Great Pyramid with adhesive 50. It's 50. It's 1/50th of an inch thick, and yet the adhesive is harder than the stone itself. No stone will be lost. All the stones are still there, except the covering. But the covering must be replaced. The 144,000 white limestone facing blocks must be replaced on the Great Pyramid for the monument of man to be finished, because it's only with the white limestone casing blocks, 144,000 of them being put back on the Great Pyramid, can the chief cornerstone descend, because the dimensions of the chief cornerstone are for a monument that it is finished. Simple as that. So we have here in the book of Revelation 144,000 humans that are going to fulfill a divine purpose. They're going to cover the elect. And that means during the wrath of God, these 144,000 will be giving their testimonies to those trapped in the construct. So maybe on the next go around, they'll be the enlightened ones, and they'll be the elect on the next run. But remember, once the wrath of God begins, the gates are shut. He that be evil, let him be evil still. He that be holy, let him be holy still. There is no switching sides once the wrath begins. This is why the 7 seals are there, and the 6th seal is stretched out. And all these events are in the 6th seal. It's a period of basically peace after the 2040 restructuring of the heavens and the earth, the pole shift. So the 144,000 are going to be leaders, and they're going to be leading all the elect, all the errants, everybody who after this period of time it doesn't want to be here. We're not with the simulaerum construct. We're ready to go. We admit that we are sojourners. This is not our world. We're ready to leave. And this is what the Exodus is about. The Exodus must be willful. It's something you want to participate in. So anyway, let me find the next part, because this gets deep. Okay, again, you guys know I've gone 15 minutes without knowing my audio was off in the past. I don't have the greatest Wi-Fi, so let me get another audio check. Good audio. Thank you, JJ. Victoria Hugh. That's all I need to see. Vicious. I'm sorry if I'm ignoring y'all in the chat, man. You guys know when I get on my roll, I get to moving. I got to get this information out. So we're doing pretty good. It's only been 52 minutes. Let me try this and hope it doesn't choke me again. All right. My eyes may not be working optimally. And I might be 49 years old, but my taste buds are awesome. Thank you guys for nobody's ever sent me tea before, but man, I really appreciate all you guys. Kelly and Matthew, Lord Prerogative Tax Assessor. I didn't think I'd remember your name. Thanks for the coffee you guys sent. The coffee beans and the grinder is awesome. I use those every single day. As a matter of fact, I'm a little upset that I drank all my Mike Lindell my coffee. Yep, I finished that bag. I'm saving the bag though, because I want to show it to Nino. Nino and I are going to do a third video. I think he's just waiting for all the chaos to be over, because the media and the elite did a real good job hiding just how successful the conservatives were. It's all coming out now. That's okay. All right. Let's see. So the 144,000, we cleared that. It was the association to the 6th seal and the 6th day of the creation of mankind. Great Pyramid prophecy, 144,000. We covered all that. So let's go to Revelation 7:9. What do we have in 7:9? I don't remember. Okay. This is crazy, because this is a chapter and a half. This is still the 6th seal. Here it is. Chapter 7, verse 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, and palms in their hands. Oh, guys, the only ones of you that are going to know what I'm talking about are those of you who've read my book on the Phoenix. But the palm leaf was sacred to the belief in the Phoenix in ancient times. And there's never been a satisfactory explanation for that. In my book, I think it's in the first chapter, I go into detail about the phoenix palms and the palm leaf. It was how they counted the 138 years in ancient times. But here we have a reference to the palm again, and this is during the phoenix phenomenon of the sixth seal. So who is this great multitude? Who are they? This is the sixth seal. Nobody in this imagery is on Earth. It's not. Remember, I told you guys, 1902. Nostradamus was very clear. He thought it was 1903. But 1902 was the beginning of the harvest. And what I mean by the harvest, I'm talking about the harvest of souls. But for those not participating in the harvest of souls, meaning the elect and the errants, they go to a special place. Those of you guys listening to my voice that know that you have been specifically separated from the collective, that know you vibrated a totally different frequency when you listen to ABC and NBC and BBC and all mainstream media. You're not vibrating on that frequency. It actually makes you nauseous, like Graham Hancock makes me absolutely nauseous. So when you're not a part of the collective anymore, when you pass away now, since 1902, you don't come back. That's over with. You're going to this place in the fifth seal, sequestered. You're gone. Remember, all those souls in the fifth seal that were crying unto God, when are you going to avenge us? We've been through all this. We're done. And he tells them to be patient. So we have here in the sixth seal, right after the fifth seal, great multitude. The key to their identity is they were humans just like you and I, immortals going through life sims, but they have been given their robe. What is that robe? That robe is the stone. What is that stone? It is their placement in the monument of man. What does the monument of man signify? It's he came to set the captives free, the chief cornerstone's monument. When you put all this together, what does this equal? It equals the entire book of Exodus. The book of Exodus wasn't a historical event. It was a prophecy. The Exodus was never out of Egypt. Remember, the evil world construct in the book of Revelation is called what? It's called two things. One is Sodom and one is Egypt. Those are the two names that are given to the world in the book of Revelation. Why? Why? Egypt infers Exodus. The errants will be making their exodus from this construct, leaving behind the Egyptians. The Egyptians are the collective. So we have here wait a minute. Hold on. That's as far as I was going. 7, 9, 13, and 14. So we have here this great massive amount of people. They have their security in escaping the simulacrum, the freedom from captivity, is secured. And now they're waiting somewhere else, sequestered from the construct, for their brothers and sisters, everybody else who's still alive in the flesh like we are. They're waiting for us to make our exit so we can get our white robes or new avatars, white stones. Because once you have the new avatar, this construct can't confine you. It's almost like being afforded a new dimension where the prior lower dimensions cannot contain you. So I'm not saying you're not going to be you. You're still going to have your unique personality, but you're just going to be a whole lot more powerful. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, who are these arrayed in white robes, and where did they come from? And I said unto him, Sir, you know. And he said unto me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Guys, great tribulation. It's not talking about the apocalypse. It's not talking about the wrath of God, which is about to start with the 7 trumpets. It's talking about all the lifetimes they've lived. Their journey is over. It's finished, because the actual wrath of God in this narrative hasn't even started yet. We're still in the 6th seal. The apocalypse hasn't begun. The great unveiling hasn't begun. And the wrath of God hasn't even begun. This is still the sixth seal. And we know this because I'm about to read to you the seventh seal. And when he had opened up, which is the next chapter, totally next chapter, chapter 8. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about the space of an hour. And I saw 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. Trumpets are instruments of war. This is what's about to happen. Yeah, for any of you who've ever done your research, the trumpet was designed for warfare. Now, it's been used for many things since then, but in ancient times, it was a device for war. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. Now, there's a lot of symbolism in here. It's almost like the Clash of the Titans. The great gods are doing things and it's affecting things on Earth. Throws the incense in the fire. What does it cause? What does that always cause? It causes a great cloud. That's what it causes. Remember, prophecies in Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. In the last days, I will bring the cloud upon you. I will darken the earth in daylight, and I will make the moon not cast forth her light. Yeah, these are all prophecies. And it continues right here. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up to God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar and cast it to the earth. There's our clue that what is metaphor is now being transferred into physicality. These are whatever this angel's doing in heaven, it's about to translate on earth. Cast it to the earth, and there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. There are no earthquakes in heaven, my friends. Therefore, we have a piece of text that now transfers what is going on outside the construct with the redeemed and those souls who will finally receive their new avatars and new identities or new names, that now there is a transfer back into the realm of men. What we're about to read now is harrowing because this begins the wrath of God. This ends the seven seals are over, completely done. Remember, this begins the period of he who is wicked, let him be wicked still. And he who is good, let him be good still. Once the wrath of God begins, the lines of demarcation are set. Simple as that. And we begin with the 7 trumpets of the wrath of God. This is no longer preparatory to the Great Tribulation. This is the Great Tribulation. And I'm telling you now, based off all my research, which you can easily verify, you guys already know my Anunna Files videos goes into great depth as to 2046, November 1st, being the return of the Nemesis X object, being this great wormwood change, this change that overcomes the world, being the fulfillment of the 1,872,000 days of the Mayan Bactan calendar, which is divided into 13 epochs of 144,000 days each, started in 3113 BC. Remember, for those of you new to my channel, this is not something new to my Archaix followers. In 2007, I wrote a book about the Mayan long count, and while there were hundreds of books all claiming that 2012 was going to be all kinds of catastrophic stuff, I was publishing just the opposite. My book was finally published, Anunnaki Homeworld, in 2011, and I was saying just the opposite, that the Mayan long count has been miscalculated. Someone didn't know what they were talking about when they published the 2012 end date, because I did the math with a calculator and I show numerous charts of how you can do it too. And the end date for the Mayan long count is 2046. And the importance of this is because the 4 base diagonals of the Great Pyramid, as measured by engineer David Davidson, he shows that the Great Pyramid is a calendar, and that calendar is very specific to a certain year in history where a timeline began that was important to the Great Pyramid. But he never specified what it signified. He only said when it ended. Well, when it ended and when it began. The begin date he estimated was 4040 BC. He estimated the end date then to be precisely 2045. I corrected this in Chronicon, showing that he was 1 year off. And this would have been he's not alive today, but this would have been acceptable to him because he admits from the beginning it's an estimate. But he was only 1 year off because the capture of Luna happened in 4039 BC. And I showed this by independent data sets, that the moon appeared in the sky for the first time, and the moon affected time ever since. It was counted in certain denominations ever since the moon appeared. So David Davidson found this in the year 1926 and published it. And I've shown that in my videos. I've shown his original charts that he drew. I show them in the videos where he concludes that the calendar message of the Great Pyramid is that, well, there's many messages in the Great Pyramid, but the one he's talking about, the 4 cornerstones, the 4 base diagonals of the Great Pyramid, he said for some reason the Great Pyramid records a timeline, and that timeline is indicative that our present timekeeping system will collapse in 2045. Why is this important? The Mayan prophecies attached to their calendar are very specific. And this is another problem I have with many of the academics who published books about 2012. They didn't tell you what the Maya said. They're so busy predicting the end of the world because of the 2012. It's all sensational bullshit. But the Mayan prophecies are very, very specific, and I cite them in my books as well. The Maya believed that at the end of the 13th Bactan, the end of the Mayan long count itself, time would collapse. The year would be noted as 13.0.0.0.0, which in Mayan mathematics is exactly 1,872,000 days. And when that period was over, time itself would collapse. And when time collapsed, the Maya said that an invasion of demons would happen. This is their faith. This is their belief. What do we find in the book of Revelation? I'm about to read it to you, because it's exactly what the Maya said was going to happen. So here we go. Again, let's get audio check. Audio check. I heard about 1899. People have been sending me emails about 1899. Thank you, guys. No more audio checks. Thank you. That's good. All right. Let's do it. We got all this. I'm sorry, guys, but it took me an hour and 7 minutes just to finish the 7 seals. I apologize, but I promise you the 7 trumpets are about to go fast. And again, you're going to see this forward-backward palindromic sequencing between Revelation and Genesis. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. Listen, a third part of the trees was burnt up, and the green grass was burnt up. 1/3 of plants. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And a third part of the sea became blood. Now, some of you are familiar with Roger of Mud Fossils material. I'm not a fan, but I'm not really a critic either, because I believe that what he has found is genuine. However, I have a different interpretation to Roger of Mud Fossils' data. I agree with him that there has been blood found in rocks all over the world. I agree with him that organic compounds and organic materials have been found all over the world in strata. And I agree with him that it's not natural, it's not normal. What I don't agree with, because I've seen no evidence, is of animals or people the size of mountains. What I see happening is what Charles Fort documented hundreds of times. Carbonaceous material and organic compounds have rained from clear blue skies. We don't know what the sky is. I've told you guys all the time, the stars lie. We're looking up into a hologram of illusions. Those luminaries are not stars. They're not planets. What the sky is concealing something else. Guys, body parts have rained from the sky. And I've documented that too in my videos. Charles Fort's documented it too. So is William Brambley. So the sky conceals something, and just like the moon is not a physical object, it's a hologram hiding something else. So we have here, it's not, that's why this is not mysterious to me, that blood would fall from the sky. It's not mysterious to me at all. But a matter of fact, test samples of the red mud that fell in 1902 were tested in Rome. And in Rome, it was determined that they contained blood. Yeah, it's not a mystery to me. I don't know what's up in the sky. I don't understand it. But I know that insects and animals have rained from the sky. And there's always some stupid weatherman trying to interpret that as, oh, a typhoon sucked up a lake and just deposited it over here. It's BS. Because whole entire insect larvae and all that have been found in different strata of ice in Antarctica. Layers, ice cores have pulled up all kinds of insects that could have only rained from the sky. I even have a video on insect storms and the capaciousness of the insects, the density of the rivers of insects falling from blue skies negates any other interpretation other than they are falling from vast hidden reservoirs that we don't know about and we can't see about. Remember the Hunger Games. With a computer, they were able to manufacture any phenomena that they needed to introduce into the battle dome. Remember that. And a third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. And a third part of the ships were destroyed. A third of everything. And a third angel sounded. And there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon a third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded. 4 is the number of the world, always has been. 4 is the number of the earth. You know, northeast, southwest. In ancient cosmologies, the number 4 always translated to something to do with the ground, the earth. And the fourth angel sounded, and a third part of the sun was smitten, and a third part of the moon, and a third part of the stars. So as a third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the like nightwise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound. Okay, what we have here is an admission in the text that everything that's reduced by a third was done by a single event. Remember, trumpets are blown together in unison. And here we have 7 trumpets, but 3 of them are held back. 4 trumpets are blown successively back to back. We're not looking at events that are being stretched over a long period of time. We're looking at events that may have all happened in the exact same day. Everything. Then 3 more trumpets are being reserved, meaning that the text differentiates the 2, meaning there's a time period between the 4 trumpets and the 3 trumpets. But these 4 trumpets are devastating Because what did they do? This is a Revelation text. It's describing the template of events to come in the end, what the collective are going to suffer. This is what it's describing, but it's using the language of creation. 100%. Let me explain. What do we have right here? Let's see. In Revelation chapter 1, what do we have? God creates two great lights. He creates the sun. He creates the moon. He creates, which causes daytime. It causes nighttime. What happens in Revelation? What happens in Revelation? 1/3 of the sun, 1/3 of the moon, 1/3 of the day, 1/3 of the night, 1/3 of the stars. 5 things are specifically mentioned, and it's admitted here that day and sun are different. Night and moon are different. It's totally differentiating them. It specifically mentions the reduction by 1/3 of the day, of the night, of the sun, of the moon, of the stars, of the plants, of the animals in the sea, of the ships of the sea. All these deals. Every bit of these are mentioned as being created before mankind shows up. Man's world is reduced by 1/3. What is remaining if you take out 33.3%? You are left with 66.6% to go through the rest of the wrath of God, because 33.3% has all been taken. But it's also an act of mercy. It's called the quickening, because time itself is reduced. So the period of judgment, 33.3% of the time is removed. So, and it specifically says in Revelation, or no flesh would be saved. That's pretty profound what the collective are going to go through. Very profound. It doesn't mean some of the elect and errants won't die. We die all the time. Could be murders. Could be accidents. Could be old age. Could be heart failure. It could be from members of the collective who kill us. I mean, death happens every single day. There are people listening to my voice right now who 6 months ago will not be alive. And there's going to be other people listening to my voice 6 months from now who had never heard of me 6 months before. It's just, this is the confluence of life. It's a flow. It's an ebb and flow. So we have Revelation 8. Big old Bible. I was going back to look for something in Genesis, but I really don't need to, because Genesis chapter 1 mentions everything that is created and made when the evening and the morning is the next day. Everything is in Genesis 1, but it's all mentioned again in Revelation chapter 8. But in Revelation chapter 8, every single thing is mentioned in Genesis chapter 1 is reduced by 1/3. But it's not over. That's just 4 trumpets. The last 3 trumpets are woes. This means terrible events that are going to affect humanity. So we're going to look at that right now. As soon as I can find it. That tea is good. Thank you for those likes, guys. And if anybody forgot, you can remember. Let's see. Okay. 8-1. Got all that? All right. So let's look at that. To the 5th angel, the Arab. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. The Sumerian Arab was the number 5, like a pentagram. And in my book, man, Return of the Fallen Ones. In my book, Return of the Fallen Ones, I show the picture of the Sumerian Arab. It looks a lot like Dingir, the sign for God, but it's a pentagram. That pentagram was the plow symbol. It was Arab, A-R-U-B. Arab was the plow symbol, but it had an extra connotation of something that strikes the ground and breaks up the harvest. So like a plow, like a plow. That was the meaning to this ancient Sumerian symbol. Well, it was embodied by the number 5. Here we have the 5th trumpet judgment. And this is what starts the 3 woes, which the Sumerian Arab concept embodies. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star from heaven fallen to earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. Remember, post-Phoenix phenomenon is volcanism everywhere, thickening the atmosphere and thickening the vapor canopy. Remember, a third of the sunlight was diminished. This is vapor canopy period. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke out of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. Locusts are destroyers of the harvest. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. My friends, the collective is in trouble. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, locust season. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when it striketh a man. Remember, guys, I've told you that Revelation cipher is a book about the end of the simulacrum project construct, but it refers back to the elements of the beginning, Genesis. 150 days is 5 months. It's right here. Should be tormented 5 months. 5 months is mentioned in the book of Genesis as well. It's the duration of the collapse of the vapor canopy. It's how long the waters of the rain lasted, the waters in the runoff. It's mentioned in Genesis that the water from the great flood lasted for 5 months. That's amazing. That's amazing. We have these parallels going forward and backward. And there's actual biblical commentaries that show that because Genesis mentions the 5-month period being 30 days each, that's proof that the old world recognized by Genesis was 360 days a year. And I agree with that. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Vapor canopy. It's in my presentations, guys. The human body avatar will enjoy rapid healing in a vapor canopy. Increased air pressure, better vitamins, minerals, mineral content. 100 times the oxygen content we have today. This is going to promote healing in a vapor canopy condition with the ambient radiation. Remember, it's a dark purple light type atmosphere. Humans are going to be very hard to kill. If you kill somebody, that's not going to be an accident. You're going to have to really, really try to kill somebody during a vapor canopy period. And this is why the whole story of Cain and Abel is significant. The whole curse of Cain and all that. Murders happened all the time during the antediluvian period in a pre-flood world. Murder was everywhere. But the story actually embodies a situation that in the vapor canopy world of Genesis, it wasn't easy to die. If Cain killed Abel, it could not have been an accident, because the human regenerative power back then was so powerful and fast. Open cuts would heal it in seconds. You had to really work to kill somebody. And this is what the true, this is why Cain was cursed. Now, I'm not saying the Cain and Abel story was true. I'm saying the story embodies a situation from the ancient world that is acknowledged. So, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. Remember what trumpets are? They're instruments of war. Yeah, the loving, peaceful God that has always been preached and all that stuff all throughout antiquity is real. The oversoul has done it. But now it's not. It's time for retribution. That period where you were going to make it is over. Let him who is wicked be wicked still. That period's over. Trumpets are for warfare, exacting revenge. What was the fifth seal of the apocalypse? It was God's children crying out, when are you going to avenge us? And being told, wait, it's almost time. All right, this is a relationship. This is what's unfolding here. Now promises are being exacted. Promises are being fulfilled. Now the oversoul is basically he's putting the hammer of judgment down. And he's doing it in the form of, what do the Maya say? An invasion of demons. It's TZOL something. The Tzola Mizikaya, I don't remember. I am not Mayan. But there's a long name for the invasion of these type of demons that are going to afflict mankind and the collapse of the Mayan long count. So, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses of battle, and there were crowns of gold, okay, and their faces were the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and the teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running into battle. Okay, we are left with the impression that these demons are like hybrids, humanoid and something else. What was one of the most infamous stories from the vapor canopy period? And there were giants in the earth in those days. And after that, when the sons of men came unto the daughters of men and took all which they held in esteem or whatever. It's the same story over again. It's the creation. The book of Enoch and the book of Jasher are very, very specific. It was the greatest sin of the vapor canopy period was the creation of hybrids. And they had tails like scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, destroyer. But in the Greek tongue, he hath his name as Apollyon, same thing. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 more woes hereafter. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay a 1/3 part of mankind. There it is in Genesis chapter 1. The day, the night, the sun, the moon, the stars, the animals in the sea, the animals on dry ground, the plants, the ships at sea, and now mankind. Everything reduced by 1/3, leaving behind 66.6%. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them would be 2 million. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was a 1/3 part of men killed by fire, by smoke, and by brimstone, which issued from their mouths. So after 150 months of boils, painful boils, scorpion stings, pain after 150 days, 5 months of this. On the 151st day, these things are allowed to start killing men with fire and brimstone. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, and they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. There's no change. Collective is a collective. They're going to stay. They're going to continue. No matter what happens to them, they're going to maintain the course. They are in the collective. They're absolutely spiritually vacuous. They're dead. Here's an interesting deal. Chapter 10. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. As a rainbow is imagery that takes us right back to the first story after the flood. After the flood is over, we have the appearance of the rainbow. Why? Because the vapor canopy had collapsed. Now there was rain, so you could see rainbows. Before that, there was no rain. A mist watered the ground. So we have this return of the imagery that is prolific in the creation account of Genesis. But in the Revelation account, it's all about the destruction of the world, of the collective, basically. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth. And he cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttereth, and write them not. We have here in the book of Revelation 7 distinct judgments that will afflict the collective, that basically God himself did not want the programming to be known. Not even the elect, not even errants are to know what these 7 events are. We have the 7 seals, which prepare us for the beginning of the wrath of God. Then we have the 7 trumpets, which are the wrath of God. And in those 7 trumpets, we basically have the reduction of the human race in a very rapid fire series of events to 66% survivors. And that's pretty bad, because Phoenix takes out a lot in 2040 as well. Because the seven seals take out 1/4 of the world's population. That number is specific. In the book of Revelation, 25%, 1/4 of the world's population dies in the 7 seals. In the 7 trumpets, 33.3% more die. The survivors of the 75% that were left behind from the Phoenix. So we're left at the 7 trumpets with the world is basically reduced by 50% by the 7th trumpet. These events are rapid fire. It's all right here in the text. We are dealing with my Anunna files conclusions that 2046 is the return of the Nemesis X object in the sky, crashes to Earth, the release of demons, whatever you want to call, whatever demons are to you. But 2046 is, I have so many references for that date. It's just, I don't even want to get into it. That's not what this video is about. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you must be new to the Archaix channel, because everybody else knows how much data has been revealed about the year 2046 and the year 2040. So it's very interesting. So just like with the 7 seals, we have a lot to cover. I'm not going to go into the last woe yet. Let me turn this off. But those were the first 6 trumpets, 2 woes. There's a third woe that needs to be discussed, but we're not going to do it in this video at all. I've already been talking for a long time, an hour and 30 minutes. But everything that's been disclosed to you guys, the 7 seals are preparatory. They're for us to realize, okay, this is what's going on. And I've told you guys many times that the elite are going to stage a false apocalypse. And that's what the 7 seals are. Total false apocalypse. They're going to use all these events to their advantage and stage it. Make us believe that white horseman is truly a savior when he's not. He's a destroyer. The ones that know the truth are the red horsemen, are the nations of the red horsemen. They know the truth. They know this guy is not who the world believes, the Western world. Because I believe that the entire Christian world is going to get behind the white horseman, because they're going to believe hook, line, and sinker he is who he claims to be. And then this is going to happen pretty quick. Yeah, we're on the verge of it. We have a few things. I mean, right now, I've already showed you in my predictions videos that, you know, conservatives and Republicans and nationalists around the world are house cleaning. And house cleaning takes time, but it's happened rapidly. I mean, I got predictions that were done 18 months ago telling you guys, man, that the socialists and Democrats were going to fall. They're going to fall hard. You know, in those prediction videos from 18 months ago, I told you guys that social media was going to be revamped, and that cancel culture was itself going to fall under scrutiny, and that social media engines were going to get broken apart, and some of them would get taken over. Some of them would collapse. Liberal pundits and famous newscasters that were extremely liberal were going to be taken down. We see this everywhere right now. They're being attacked on all fronts. It's by design. By design. The pendulum is swinging, and yes, the conservatives in the West will take over, and yes, it's all preparatory for the next crusade. Because the coming crusades are the 7 seals. The whole narrative, the whole historical narrative of all of the church, Rome wiring up all the crusades, every bit of that is about to happen again, because the focus is Jerusalem. Jerusalem's in the script. That's what it is. All scripted. Every bit of this is scripted. Yeah, Muslims are going to take Jerusalem. And the elite are going to use that to wire up the whole Christian world, and all the conservatives and all the patriots are going to come behind Rome and initiate a whole new crusade. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. Enter the first horseman. That's what's going down. Let me see some of these Let me see what's going on in here in this chat. Shiva Shampoo, nice to see you show up. Oh, I see J Dreamer's in the chat. He showed up. Thank you, Phoenix Protocol, HW Liberty, Daddy Resonance. Oh man, Crow Rising. Don't even mention Crow. Why you mention Graham Hancock? Why? Anybody listens to Graham Hancock's show on Netflix, listen, I can't overstate this. There is a big difference between Fingerprints of the Gods and other Graham Hancock books. And when you open that book and you read the material, there is a huge difference between that and what you're hearing Graham Hancock say on those videos. I've watched 4 of those videos now. I'm really thinking about doing a commentary, an Archaix commentary, dissecting all that bullshit. I'm really thinking about doing it because it's getting under my skin. Just listening to all this filth and misinformation being put out. Absolutely trash research. The difference that I'm discussing is that what I'm hearing from Graham Hancock in the videos, there's no eloquence, there is no intellect behind this person that's Graham Hancock in those videos, and the person or the group of people who wrote Fingerprints of the Gods. I am now beginning to entertain something I would have never entertained before. Because I understand that a man is never equal to his book. And what I mean is a lot of preparation goes into a book. But you should still see some semblance between an author who is orating and speaking before something especially as important as something you know for a fact millions of people are going to watch. That you would have a modicum of intellect, that you would sound like you know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm mystified. I'm sitting there watching these videos, and it's like, well, I don't understand how this guy actually believes that an intelligent assertion of the facts would ever lead to his conclusions. I don't know, man. I'm so sick. I'm so tired of it. I don't know, man. Please don't contact Graham Hancock and tell him that I want to talk to him, because I don't. We don't even speak the same language at all. Yeah, he is promoting uniformitarianism. He is basically, when I look at him, I'm just going to see a monkey. That's all I'm going to see. Because every time we talk about something, his frame of references are all going to be in geology, Younger Dryas, and uniformitarianism, evolution, natural selection. Everything out of his mouth is promoting that. Yeah, you ain't about ancient mysteries when you sit there promoting this stuff. Yeah, man, I can't talk to anybody who even believes that totally disproven, bogus narrative of history. Millions of years, all the layers in the ground are equal millions of years. No, man. I got many, many videos smashing all those ideas. No, man. I can't. Somebody who promotes that idea, it's just, to me, it's like you're looking at me. Ooh, yeah, you're a monkey sitting there trying to tell me something. I'm not, no. It's not happening. It is not happening, man. Yeah, it's crazy. When I get off this video, well, tomorrow I'm not going doing Christmas lights. Tomorrow, I have got to answer about 200 emails, and I will. I said I'll make a full coffee pot at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I just get after it. Get after it. I do it. I get wired up like that. Tomorrow, I got to answer about 200 emails. You know, I haven't looked at my emails in days. I've just been backed up. I've been trying to get a bunch of those Feylorn Saga deals out, but you know, I'm going to release 2 more. It's only 6:45. I'm going to release 2 more Feylorn Saga episodes tonight because I'm trying to get the whole book out. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. TV series. Let's see. TV series 1899 sounds like they were listening to Jason's material. Well, you know what, man? From the very beginning, when I started my YouTube channel, I was inviting other content creators to borrow from my material. Use whatever you want, do whatever. Now, I have noticed, and people have sent me emails and showed me other content creators who have taken a lot from my material without citing me and all that, and that's okay. You know what? I don't even really care. I mean, the world is a very big place. There's a lot to share. You know, if you want to take something that really wasn't yours, I don't really blame you, because wasn't really mine either. I mean, all my discoveries are basically on following other people's research and just putting things together. So I don't know. I'm not really upset by that. Now 1899, I haven't seen it, but if it's almost my whole narrative and chronicon and all that, when they haven't cited me, yeah, I would mention them. I would definitely mention them as being full of shit. I say, yeah, man, you want to preach the truth, that's good, but I wouldn't have taken from you and not cited that source. Why did you do it to me? But it's just not important, really. The most important thing is getting all the data out, and I've done that. It's over 300 and something super PACs that have been sent out. I'm cool with that, because I know anything ever happens to me or my material, I know that there's some of you that will take off and just, oh no, they did that to Jason. Oh no, Jason disappeared. Oh no, I got this information right here. I'm gonna flood, and I already know you guys are doing to do that. Yeah, I'm not important anymore. I said that information is out there. It has been widely disseminated on 5 different continents, and I'm cool with that. I am very comfortable with that. I like Matt. Oh, Matt. Somebody said Matt of Quantum of Conscious reaches the same philosophical conclusions. I like Matt. I listen. When I'm in my when I'm in my shop. When I'm in my shop, and sometimes I just turn YouTube on and I just let videos play. And I just click on the things, and he's popped up a few times, and I'll play him. And when I'm busy with my hands, I like to listen to YouTube videos. I don't even watch TV, but yeah, I've listened to a few of Matt's deals. I like Matt. Thank you, Just Frank. I haven't seen Alien Interview by Lawrence Spencer, but I refuse to believe in the existence of extraterrestrials. I'm not trying to hear it, because the race that's been here for a very long time with us didn't come from the sky. They came from underground. They're still down there, and the elite work for them. And all the misdirection. I have many videos about this. If you guys, you're new to my channel, I have many videos that are explaining the alien trickster gods and all. Man, all the technology is designed to do is make you look up. Yeah, it's not. They don't want you to look down. All human mass vanishings, all the disappearances, people are going underground. They're not going into the sky. UFOs don't come in and out of the atmosphere. They're seen going in and out of ponds, tanks, lakes, and oceans. Yeah. And there's believe me, there's reasons why a lot of these national parks are like military zones, absolutely policed. Yeah, there's a reason why. Wow, I might have to look at 1899. That many of you have seen it. That's crazy. Yeah, I just don't waste my time with a lot of stuff. YouTube blocked me again. Not YouTube. Facebook totally blocked me out again. I can't even access my account. I'm done. I'm seriously contemplating giving everybody about 2 weeks to go ahead and go to the Archaix Facebook group and copy anything out of there you want. But I'm really upset with Facebook, and I really don't believe Facebook deserves my material. Matt, even right now, Matt's already setting up all the Archaix material, all articles, all kinds of fascinating stuff. Not just links to the videos, a whole bunch of research. It's all going to Odyssey. So, yeah, I'm seriously considering. I'm about to delete everything Archaix off of Facebook. Can't stand Facebook. So y'all can expect that. If any of y'all enjoy going on that Facebook, Archaix, it doesn't matter. I haven't been contributing. Nobody else has been contributing. And I stayed away for so long that even my mods left. It got too much for them. And I do not blame them, man. I mean, they're friends of mine. But I can't expect them to hang around when I can't get in there. I'm too busy. And I can't, I'm not cool with the fake accounts and all that shit. So I just, what, if I can't go in there as me, I don't want to go in there at all. And if they're going to block me, then Facebook shouldn't be able to benefit from having a group of 16,000 members in it. Archaix, no. If people want Archaix material, they can come to YouTube, or they can go to Odyssey or BitChute. Screw Facebook. I don't give a damn about Facebook anymore. Yeah, It's too much like an intelligence agency. It wants you to prove too much who you are. Man, F that, man. Yeah, I'm glad it's falling apart. I'm glad Meta's going broke. Yeah, man. I'm glad Elon Musk took over Twitter. Jason, your predictions about the Dominican Republic is already in the early stages. I believe it's already happening. Yeah. I went real deep for Michael Bolin. I remember his name. Michael Bolin was really worried about all that, so I went real deep on those the date sequence predictive analytics and isometric analysis for the Dominican Republic. I think I went 15 years in the future or something like that. It took a long time. It's not easy to do that, guys. That's why I don't do a lot of those. I've done Australia and I've done I've done like 9 different nations. It takes a lot of time. Somebody said something about Odyssey, but my chat jumped. Damn. I'll go back through the chat. I'll go back through the chat when I get off. I'm so far behind in the chat that when I look at something, sometimes it just jumps up on me. That's what happens when I run my mouth, guys. I'm sorry. Yep. Yep. Jason, open a chat for Telegram. Well, I am on Telegram. I only have links. I have a Telegram group or a Telegram page for the YouTube videos, but yeah, I need to. Well, I'm going to spend time on Discord. I kicked it with those guys for a couple hours. Hell, we even pulled out bourbon, and we had like 10 people were on the screen on Discord. We were just all kicking it and talking. That was fun. I like Discord now that I understand how to use it. I still don't understand how to use it. I just navigated. I figured things out. But yeah, Discord was fun. I like that. That's pretty cool. Whoever invented Discord, they knew what people would flock to it once they understood it. Because I am impressed with it. I am impressed. 13, 20, 26 likes. Boy, you guys are great, man. I hope you did enjoy that presentation. I hope it didn't feel rushed. I've been so busy doing all kinds of different things. I didn't do a lot of preparation for it. Didn't need to. I mean, I can read the whole book of Revelation and just give you my vantage point on it. Doesn't mean I'm right. But yeah, the definitely the seven seals and the seven trumpets. It's a fast. I believe the entire period, from the first seal, is 2034. I have reasons for this, and it's in my. Well, it's not. Well, you know what? It's not in the Chronicon version you guys have. I forgot. I stopped the public version in 2012. 2012 is the last date. I forgot about that. Yeah. I have Chronicon. It goes to 2013, 14, 15, 16, all the way up to 2106. And I have a Chronicon team right now. They're always giving reports where they are, but those are the ones I talk to on Discord. They're going to be typing all that stuff, because I basically went through all the eschatology and prophecies of different religions around the world and compared it with the eschatology of Christianity and Islam, and compared it with the date index of Mario reading that filters the quatrains of Nostradamus, which has been accurate as hell. And then the Mother Shipton, and I backed all that up with each year in the future showing its isometric counterpart to isolate particulars in those years that would verify that the prophecies do indeed happen in this time. It's huge, monumental project, and that's where I get a lot of my information when I'm talking to you guys. I don't have time to cite all that, but you're going to see it because Chronicon's being done right now. Pretty impressed with their work. Pretty impressed. Thank you guys for the donations. Really appreciate that. I see some new names in here. Do see some new names in here. And I see some old names that came back, ain't been around in a while. I believe Mike and Tracy were around a long time ago, and then now they just showed back up. Or I remember a Mike and Tracy that used to hang around Facebook with me a lot. Lobotomy 242. What in the hell inspired that name? Holographic wood chip. Wow. You can always tell a gathering of errants, the most imaginative and creative SOBs around. They have to be. Like I tell you guys a lot, man. It's intuition, empathy, and imagination. Those are the character traits. You're going to have them. Most people are real strong in one of them. Unique people are pretty powerful in two of them. Or it's a real rare individual that possesses all three powerfully. Oh no, big rocks. If nobody returns after 1902, then who are all of the new children being born, including us? No. You misunderstand. 1902 begins the harvest. The only ones not returning after 1902 are the elect, the errants, those who will no longer be participating in this construct and have been sequestered to the side and been given their inheritance, and that inheritance, receiving that new avatar, precludes their ability to come back in this. I don't understand. I don't want to sit here and just make up stuff about it, but like all the stuff I hear in mysticism, like, oh, you've ascended to 5D or 6D or 7D. Hell, I can't even get 3D out of, I can't even get all the 3D stuff right. So I don't even want to talk about 4D, 5D, 6 dimensional shit. I don't know. I don't know about all that, but I don't want to put specifics with it. But in the 20th century, so many people have lived and are living from the 20th century that it equals the number of everybody who's ever been alive in the last 58 to 59 centuries of recorded history. It says we have more people now than have ever existed before. Starting in 1902, the collective keep coming back, reincarnated, come back, reincarnate, coming back, new life sims. Since 1902, some members of the collective may have been here 7-8 times. Some die at 16 years old of the flu or cholera, and then die on the battlefields at 13 years old at the end of World War I. Come back, and a 26-year-old during World War II dies, and then a 50-year-old in the year 1976 dies. By this time, they're on their 6th or 7th trip. Since 1902, they're a member of the collective. This is what they've chosen. This is who they are. They're staying here. And when the simulacrum collapses, they'll start back. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're starting all the way back over again. Another 58, 59 centuries, or however long it is. I mean, the simulacrum may only go back to 522 AD. I have theorized this before. That we don't know how far it goes back. The rest of it could be backfiller programming. We don't know when it actually started. But 1902 is the harvest period. It is when the elect stop coming back. And just that's the way it is. Yeah, people are still coming in. They're still filtering in. Yeah, it's going to be pretty, I mean, the longer we move forward in time into the 7 seals and into the trumpets, the less and less the population of errants will be, and the more and more the population of the collective, the living dead, the zombies. But yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Zuckerberg needs to be done. Yeah. Zuckerberg really never started nothing. It was the CIA did all that. They just gave it to him. Stole it from somebody's, I think, life book or something. They stole it from somebody else, modified it, turned it into an intelligence apparatus, and gave it to Agent Zuckerberg to carry. That's all that was. Yeah, Larry Bird, I agree, man. I'm the type of people on YouTube in the chat. To me, it's a different environment than Facebook. Facebook is toxic. My God, Facebook is toxic. It's like there's different agencies that just employ thousands of people to say stupid shit. It's crazy. Yeah, man. I can't stand Facebook. I tried Facebook. I did. Yes, I did. So yeah, if you guys just want some leisurely listening to my Feylorn, I'll put the link in the description box and pinned comment on this video. But my Feylorn saga is deep. It's deep. The first 20 episodes I've already unloaded. Like I said, they're just a survivor, a guy who walks into an ancient court of fairies, and before their deity and before all them, they press in and they listen to this story. And that's what these episodes are. He's telling the story. This epic fantasy saga is so deep that 20 episodes so far were just used to tell the backstory of what's going on before I even get to the main characters, which are fairies, and what they're going through. So it's like I told you, man. I wanted to sit out. I was in prison. And a series of events unfolded in prison, and I couldn't. I just couldn't sit to the side and do nothing. And you know, prison politics being what they are, I got involved and I went to closed custody, maximum security closed custody, and I didn't care really much. It didn't have anything to do with my freedom because by that time I realized parole was a sham. I wasn't going anywhere for years anyway. So I'm on close custody, and within a week of being at a new custody level and locked in a cell for 23 hours a day, and I just my creativity just exploded. I never stopped researching. I was collecting data and all that, but nonfiction material is different than the generation of imaginative material. Because during my early morning hours, I would get into my books, I would get into my Bible, I would write all these notes. Then I would exercise and I would drink, do whatever, man. I'd play chess with my celly, go to rec yard. I was only allowed. I go out there for an hour. That's all we were allowed on close custody. And I would just run my ass off, or I'd play handball. And then when I came in, we showered. Once we showered, that I have energy again. I've moved around. I no longer want to do research and all that stuff. Now my imagination's blowing up, and the rest of the day I would just world build, create characters, create a world. So me getting in trouble in prison actually led to the writing of about 4,000 pages of a fantasy epic series. So that's where that came from. So you can go check that out. 1080, appreciate it. But yeah, man, you can go check that out. It's going to entertain the hell out of you. But I'm telling you now, I have taken my Archaix material, put my fundamental beliefs about the construct in this world and what's really happening, and I have wrapped it all up into a fantasy series. But it takes a long time to get to it because I drop the hints out. I just drop all the before I start building it all and putting it together. And it's all about a place called the Oriclon. But I haven't even introduced that in the first 20 episodes yet. But it's all about a place called the Oriclon and what it means to the simulacrum and everything what's going on in this world with the return of the broken moon. So yeah. So anyway, I'm rambling. You guys know I don't like to continue these videos if I'm just started freestyle rambling. I'm done. And my stomach is growling. It's almost time to eat. So I really appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for your participation. This type of participation right here really inspires me to produce better material and to do more live videos and do more interactions with you guys, because that's what it's all about. So the more participation I see, the more I want to produce better material, unique material that I know you don't have access to elsewhere. So, yeah, man, I really do appreciate that. Thank you, Hugh. Glad you liked the presentation. Chloe. And yes, have a happy Thanksgiving. We might not all agree on the why of a holiday or what historically actually happened as opposed to what we're told today. We may not agree on these things, but I know damn well we can all agree that turkey and dressing is awesome.